Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson. That's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. This is from Destiny.
Destiny says, Dear Ben and Nate, I'm a longtime listener and recent LSAT Demon Live subscriber, and I'm grateful for all the insight you've provided throughout my LSAT journey. That's awesome, Destiny. Come say hi to me in class. A little about me. I graduated this year with a bachelor's degree and a 3.79 GPA. My desired LSAT score may be lower than some other students' goals, as I'm aiming to reach a 158 to 160 to maximize scholarship opportunities. I'm only applying to FAMU, Barry University, Stetson, and Cooley, which I know are ranked lower, semicolon. However, they are within driving distance of my home, and I am obligated to remain local due to a shared custody arrangement. When I used the scholarship estimator on the LSAT Demon website, it showed that a score within my target range would make scholarships at these schools realistic. I took the LSAT last year while working on undergrad and working full-time without any studying or preparation, something I realize now was a big mistake. I scored 140 then, but after just 2 weeks of focused studying, I scored 146 on my diagnostic last week. I've since taken time off from my job as a long-term substitute teacher so I can spend the next 10 weeks focusing exclusively on LSAT preparation. Any thoughts so far?
Yeah, a couple thoughts, but the most immediate one is people do this a lot where they think that they can make more progress by focusing exclusively on LSAT preparation and not working and not doing anything else. But there's only so much you can do during the day. It would be like trying to go to the gym for 6 hours a day or something. You're going to
Right.
get burned out. So really, the better, you're also putting a lot of pressure on these 10 weeks because what you're saying is, okay, I'm going to do only the LSAT, which means I better make a lot of progress in these 10 weeks because once these 10 weeks are up, I'm going to take the test or something like that.
Oh, and then she's only going to take it once, right? This is somebody who seems like, I'm taking it in January. I'm going to study full-time until then. Then I'm going to apply for this cycle with my January score. And it's just like, Destiny, you're a longtime listener to the show. Why don't you take our repeated advice to plan on having multiple retakes for the LSAT, to study in bite-sized pieces for as long as it takes instead of studying full-time? Like, you know these things, Destiny. If you've listened to us, you know these things, but you're not actually taking the advice that we repeatedly give. So I'm just warning you, Destiny, that if you put all your eggs in the basket of January, you're very unlikely to get your best score. You're going to put so much pressure on that January test that you're not really going to perform the way you want to perform. And I know how this goes down. You end up with a 150 or something, and that's a dramatic
Or
improvement from your
worse,
140.
maybe like a 155 or something where it's close enough to tempt Destiny into applying.
Oh, well, no, I mean, okay. So 150 or 155 or whatever it is, but not what you're capable of and not what's going to get you the scholarship offer that you really want. But, well, I took all the time off of work and I'm all in now. I was
And I got to
doing
go
this so
back
that
to work. I can't.
I got to apply before the deadline. I can't keep studying for the LSAT. I can't keep doing this forever. I've got to go now. And you're just, I can feel it, Destiny, that you're lining up to get a bad offer from these schools. I hope it doesn't work out that way. I hope you knock it out of the park in January. But the best, like my prescription for how to knock it out of the park in January is to plan on several retakes this spring and to plan on applying in September of 2025 for September of 2026 admission.
Mm-hmm.
And Destiny's going to say no to that for a million reasons. She thinks she has to go right now. And she's going to end up getting a shitty offer from one of these schools. And she's going to pay money that she doesn't have to pay to go to one of these schools. Anyway, Destiny continues. Given that I'm committing full time to studying, do you think my goal score is achievable within this time frame? I I love you, Destiny. I really wish you the best. I also don't think you're listening to the advice that we always give. We can't tell you how much you can improve on any particular timeline. We've said a million times not to study full time for the LSAT. And then people, we see it a lot, Ben. They just love to anyway write us in and say, yeah, but what if I don't follow any of your advice? Will that work out?
Can I try to finish most of the section? Can I try to get to 23 questions?
I know you say to only focus on accuracy, but I want to also focus on speed. Okay, well, sorry, Destiny. I mean, I hope that this does. I just see dark clouds here, and I just because I've been doing this for a long time, and maybe I'm an insufferable old man. I used to be an insufferable young man. Now I'm an insufferable old man. But it's like, are we just shouting into the void, Ben?
No, people hear us, but sometimes they have to hear it multiple times. And sometimes they have to hear it when they've asked the question.
We have to
when they hear us
talking, to include their name. Yeah.
When someone else is writing in and you hear them and you're like, oh, I would never do that. That's stupid. But then you go ahead and do it. So. But,
listening to the podcast.
Destiny, sorry, she's looking ahead here. She does seem open to.
Yep. I'm about to give her more credit now. I want to read the rest of her actual email, and I thoroughly apologize. I hope I'm wrong. Let's continue. Listening to the podcast, I understand that reviewing mistakes is the key to improvement, as well as letting go of my specific timeline for admissions. But do you have any additional recommendations for making the most of my prep?
No, that's how you make the most of it, is because you release the pressure, and that makes it easier for you to turn around and then focus on your mistakes and learn from them, no matter how long that process takes.
Yeah, but what's the secret?
Yeah, I've heard you tell me to do X, Y, and Z, but between you and me, what's the secret sauce?
You've said many times that there is no secret, but what's the secret?
Yeah.
Destiny, it's all about reviewing your mistakes, and a slow drip is much better than drinking from the fire hose. Every mistake you make has something to teach you about the LSAT. At a 146, that diagnostic that you took last week, are you done yet reviewing that test, Destiny? Did you thoroughly review every single one of those mistakes? Do you think you could explain to me why the wrong answers are wrong, why you were attracted to them, and how you might avoid that next time? Do you think you could explain to me, to my satisfaction, do you think you could explain to me in a way that I would believe that you really get it? Why is the right answer conclusively right? Also, why didn't you pick it in that moment? Was it predictable? Could you have predicted the answer? What was it that scared you off of that right answer? Why didn't you pick it? Have you done that, Destiny, for every single one of the mistakes you made when you got that 146? Because if not, what are you doing? Destiny continues, thanks so much for all the work you do to support students like me. I appreciate any advice you can share! Exclamation point. Best of luck, Destiny. I really am sorry if I have prejudged you in any way. I really hope, though, that you're planning on taking the official LSAT 4 more times if necessary. And I don't want you taking it in January if you're not ready, right? Like, Ben, don't you think that this looks like somebody who's like hell-bent on taking it in January? I took time off of work. I'm studying full time. I have to take it in January. No, you don't.
Well, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel the sunk costs, and they're going to push you to make decisions that are not optimal.
Right. But those sunk costs are sunk, Destiny. So, maybe you've already committed to taking the time off. Maybe you're going to study full time between now and then. That's fine. But that doesn't mean that you are obligated to take the January LSAT. The fact that you're registered now is irrelevant. If you're not happy with your practice test scores, if the scholarship estimator says, based on your recent practice test scores, you're not going to get a full ride, you have no business taking it in January. You can always kick that can down the road. And then when you do take it for the first time, it'll be your second official attempt. But when you take that second official attempt, it needs to be from a place of, I'm happy with my practice test scores. I'm going to go take it for the second official attempt. And then I'm planning on taking a third, fourth, and fifth official attempt if necessary. I'm going to keep studying so that I can maintain and even continue to improve my skills. And I'm going to keep taking it until I get an official score on record that replicates my practice test scores.
I do want to say one more thing. I know that
Great.
Custody arrangements are very entangled obligations that are not easy to change. But you have a 3.79. People do change custody agreements all the time. They say, hey, look, this isn't working for me. They go to the court. If your partner doesn't, or your ex doesn't want to rearrange custody with you, of course, a lot of times they don't. But you go to court and you provide reasons why you want things to change. Yeah, so you have a 3.79. You're shooting for a 158 to 160, but if you didn't limit yourself locally and you said, wait a sec, maybe I could go somewhere else, and you let yourself get a higher LSAT score, mid 160s, high 160s, maybe even higher, and then you were accepted to much better schools, and you went to court and said, look, I've been accepted to so-and-so law school. It's in another state. I have to leave. Of all the audiences that might be receptive
Yeah,
to a
totally.
compelling reason to leave,
Totally.
a great law school is something that a court would likely understand very well.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I remember, so there's a very naive perspective that people have on what a contract or, a shared custody arrangement, which, what is that but a contract?
Contract, yep.
Right? It's probably been endorsed by a judge or whatever, and fine. It's a contract. Contracts are made to be broken, right? It's so naive to think, well, that's what it says, that right there, I have to follow the letter of this no matter what. No, you don't. You can always, you can make other arrangements. That could be changed. The thing that was funny, the thing that made me laugh was I remember during my 1L year of college, going to a baseball game with my dad. And I remember showing him the contract, like a contracts exam. And my dad like reads it and he's like, oh, I know that he like knew the answer,
Hmm.
you know? And it's like, well, because that's what the contract says. So that's what you're obligated to do. That's it. Simple, open and shut. And of course, like anybody who's taken one law school class is like, well, the answer is always, it depends. And the purpose of the exercise is for you to write about, well, one side's going to say this and the other side's going to say that. And here's all the different areas where this thing is.
Here's why the contract doesn't apply in this particular circumstance.
It's not binding. And even if it was binding, we could change it. And even if we can't change that, we could change this other thing. And even if we can't change this other thing, I can still violate it and pay remedies or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's 1,000 different things that you could do. So, and back to your point, Ben, like if she gets into Georgetown or something,
yeah,
what judge is going to be like, oh no, I don't care.
No, you got to stay here and go to Barry. Yeah. Or Stetson. Yeah. That's where you're.
I went to Georgetown, but the fact that you got into Georgetown, it has no bearing on this. Of course it has bearing. Of course, everything can always be renegotiated and rearranged and whatever else. And so, yeah, I would say that especially, even if it's only to put herself in a better stance to make sure that she gets the best deal she can get from these schools, even if they don't know that she got admitted to Georgetown, if she does get admitted to Georgetown or as a representative top school, any other top school, If she gets admitted to any other top school, then now she's sitting there going, well, like you're trying to charge me $30,000 a year to go to Cooley? If I wanted to pay $30,000 a year, I could go to Georgetown instead. Why
Have
would
a
I do that?
wildly different outcome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think that, Destiny, my challenge to you would be to find 6 other schools that you can apply to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just don't apply until you have your very best LSAT. I'm glad that you understand that letting go of your specific timeline for admissions is important. You say you understand that. I hope that you're living it. I hope that you're actually letting go of that timeline, because studying full time for the January LSAT sure doesn't sound like somebody who's letting go of a timeline.
Yeah.
Take our advice, please, Destiny, and everybody else. And I hope you'll come say hi to me in class. And I hope you'll send us an update. This is somebody that we would love to report back on, Destiny, and hear what more happens for you in your adventure.
100%.
Email daily. Thank you, Destiny. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.